Hi, I'm David and my partner is Saurabh, and this is our submission for our course IHS 10 Film and Literature at IIT Roorkee, and the topic is film and book comparison. Now, the topic that we have choose for our presentation is the perks of being a wallflower. It is about a socially awkward teen Charlie who is a wallflower, always watching life from the sidelines until two charismatic students became his mentors. Free-spirited Sam and her brother Patrick, who helped him discover the joys of friendship, first love, music, and more, while a teacher sparks Charlie's dreams of becoming a writer. However, as his new friends prepare to leave for college, Charlie's inner sadness threatens to shatter his newfound confidence. Now, this is the book version, which was written back in 1999. The author is Stephen Chbosky. The genre of the book is young adult and epistolary, published by Pocket Books. Chbosky incorporated both fictional ideas and personal experiences into the novel. After 5 years with these elements in mind, he had the idea of creating the novel during a difficult period in his life. He was experiencing an unpleasant breakup of his own, which led him to ask, why do good people let themselves get treated so badly? So the author tried to answer this question with a simple sentence: "We accept the love we think we deserve." This quote references the struggle of finding self-love and compassing one's life and hope for the future, and not just romantic love. The novel addresses themes permeating adolescence, including introversion, sexuality, drug use, rape, and mental health, while also making several references to other literary works, films, and pop culture in general. And because of the aforementioned themes, it was even banned in some American schools for its content. Now, this is the adapted film which was released in 2012 with a high IMDb rating of 8 out of 10. Now, Chbosky had always intended to adapt the novel to film but took his time after waiting for the right time. So the film starred Logan Lerman as the protagonist, Emma Watson as Sam, Ezra Miller as Patrick, and Paul Rudd as Mr. Anderson. Now, Mr. Anderson is Charlie's English teacher now, who becomes a mentor figure for him. The film was well received by critics, particularly the performances of the three main actors. In my own experience, I liked the film as there weren't any huge glaring errors, but it's not one of those must-see movies of the year, and there is generally agreement that the movie did not do the book justice. To be fair, I think that The Perks of Being a Wallflower movie was highly anticipated, and the fans of the book had high expectations for the movie. Now, talking about the storyline, here it goes. The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky is about a freshman in high school named Charlie. Now, Charlie is really intelligent, but is also really shy. He is a titular wallflower. He prefers to observe rather than taking actions. The story is told by Charlie writing letters to an anonymous stranger, which are pretty much like diary entries as he goes through his freshman year, including his newfound friendships with Patrick and Patrick's stepsister Sam, his experiences with drugs and alcohol, and his journey to find his place in the world while also trying to deal with his past. Now, Charlie is dealing with the suicide of his friend Michael the previous year, along with the death of his aunt when he was a child. However, as his new friends prepare to leave for college, Charlie's inner sadness threatens to shatter his newfound confidence. Near the end of the story, we get to know that Charlie was molested by his aunt when he was 8 years old and has repressed it all along. Charlie eventually comes to terms with his past. Even if we do not have the power to choose where we come from, we still can choose where we go from there. So Charlie decides to participate in life, and his letter writing ends. So my personal opinion on this book and the movie comparison is that I read the book about 2 years before I saw the movie, and I really liked the book. I love the way it was written. It's a page turner, of course, and really easy to get through. I think that many people, teenagers especially, can relate to the feeling of being lost and trying to find yourself. So I mean, I'm content but not crazy about the movie though. I really like Emma Watson as Sam, and I liked how the movie was directed by the author himself. I would recommend it to people even if they have not read the book. I just did not connect as strongly with the movie as I did with the book. The book is a must read, but the movie is not a must see. I was not wowed by the movie. It's not the type of movie I want to watch a dozen times more.
Hi, I'm Saurabh. So, on comparing the book and the movie adaptation, many differences can be observed from how characters were present differently and how characters were underdeveloped in the adaptation version, and how the screenplay was little decent. But we are going to discuss mainly how characters were present differently and how screenplay is different than the book version. So, first let's start with the character differences. In the book version, Chris Flemicus, Charlie's older brother, is fairly involved and discussed mainly how good he is at the football and he has a good chance to do something in life. He takes care of Charlie whenever he starts to cry profusely in the middle school and teaches him how to play pinball and also let him work on his Camaro. His character is more grown at the end of the story, where he instead of talking about himself and boasting, started listening to others and becomes a little sensitive. While in the movie adaptation, apart from few mentions about how good he is at the football and a few important scenes, he is maturely cut off. Given the constraint of a movie duration, this difference is understandable. Aunt Helen. In book version, Aunt Helen character was more descriptive and the reason why she was living with her sister and the problems she faced as a child was somewhat known at the starting of the story and discussed in the last act too. And she was even described as corpulent, means fat. You can see her involved in the story through events like when Charlie father hit him for hurting Helen's feeling and she came to his aid. In the movie, Aunt Helen was present in memory flashbacks of Charlie and was not corpulent. Not sure about the corpulent detail, otherwise appropriate change to make the climax shocking. Next, Ponytail Derek, Charlie's sister boyfriend. In movie, he looks shy and decent guy, though he once hit Charlie's sister, but overall portrayed as a calm and composed guy, who himself makes mixtape for his girlfriend. In the book, he is presented as normal, a little dumb, high school boy who turns out to be coward and insensitive to the news that her girlfriend is pregnant. The movie does not much discuss about Derek and Charlie's sister relationship, so I think it's okay to manipulate a character a little bit for fun also in a movie. Next, Bill Anderson, Charlie's English teacher. In book version, he is more like a friend of Charlie. He discusses essays, stories, and even personal things like about his girlfriend and how he's going to marry her, and let him have a cigarette in front of him. Charlie calls Bill as Bill, like he calls Mr. Anderson with his first name, while in movie he calls him Mr. Anderson more formally. Bill is very much part of Charlie's life and is not married. He likes Charlie as a student and wants him to know that he is special. In movie version, he is more like a teacher who understands the potential inside Charlie and gives him book to read. He is married and doesn't discuss personal things nor give any pep talk to Charlie. In my opinion, the change is neutral. Both versions are achieving the somewhat same level of impact on Charlie, giving more screen time to Charlie's bonding with Sam and company. Next, Charlie himself. In both book and movie version, Charlie is an introvert boy who is dealing with some kind of psychological problem and is struggling to make new friends. In book version, he seems to be more depressed and less innocent than in the movie and also develops a bad habit of smoking and taking substance where he finds himself in a bad situation. In the movie, he tries drugs once knowingly in a funny way, but later swears to never do again. The change is bad, as all these things could have implied how much things were bad with Charlie and how much he's suffering, and the climax would have perfectly explained why. There were many characters, like Charlie's mom's father and father's mother and sister, the bully scene, his cousins, and Dave with the awkward glass, etc., who were present in the story but not in the movie. Maybe because not every character can be discussed and in the movie. As this is a good change, as the story is about Charlie and it doesn't get diverted or distracted from him. And there were details about Charlie which can be used as a wow factor later in the movie, like Charlie knows how to fight. The only reason to consider it bad is these character introductions were important to show the places where Charlie's parents come from and why they want their children to study and succeed, and why Charlie wants to get straight A's in his exam. Now we will move to the differences in the story. Michael's death. The book gets right out in front of it. Charlie's friend killed himself. This information is held until the critical first party when Sam, Emily Watson, is making Charlie a milkshake as he is stoned. The change is a big one and good, as this is a big information and the time it was revealed helped Charlie to make new friends and his relationship with Sam got better. The book version doesn't have this reveal to Sam, though Charlie is still toasted by Patrick afterward. Next, Christmas and the New Year celebration with family. In the book version, Charlie goes to his grandparents' house for Christmas and New Year celebration, while nothing like this happens in the movie. The change is small and good because it was just a diversion from the main story. Next, Patrick, also known as Nothing. In the book, Patrick has had this nickname for quite some time, while in the movie, his shop class teacher named him Nothing. After he tried impersonating him in front of the whole class, they got into an argument and his teacher called him Patty Cakes, to which he replied, either call me Patrick or Nothing. And that's how he got his name. The change is small, but it is good, as this edit gives a funny character introduction to Patrick. Next, Charlie versus Bully scene. In the book, Charlie gets in a fight on his first day of high school with Steve and hurt him in self-defense. While in the movie, he doesn't get involved in any fight until Brad versus Patrick big fight. The change is big, the change is good because it is one of the wow moments in the film, and standing up for Patrick make a huge deal. And bad because the violence issue in the book shows that Charlie's condition is not good. Next, Charlie's confession to Sam. In the book, Charlie tells Sam that he likes her at the starting of the story, but in the movie, Charlie keeps this feeling to himself after seeing Sam is happy with Craig. The change is moderate, but not telling Sam starts off their relationship on a good note, while it becomes a little awkward in the book. Though the author didn't let us feel anything awkward in the future conversation between them, but still somewhere in conscience it was there. So I find this change overall good. Next, we accept the love we deserve. In both book and movie, Bill tells this to Charlie, but in book, Charlie's concern while asking Bill a question regarding toxic relationship is his sister, and in the movie, it is Sam. A big and a good change for the time, as it avoids the whole ponytail Derek saga, but we again lose some prominent action. As you can see, a screenshot is shown on the right side of the screen depicting the whole dialogue. Next, Charlie develops a smoking habit. In book, he starts smoking just to calm himself down in a bad situation, but gradually turns into a chain smoker when things don't go well with Sam and in the school. In the movie, he doesn't smoke but did drug once. The change is moderate and fine, as they couldn't set up the hero as a smoker. They would have been risking an R rating, but a lot of drama is missed out. Child abortion. In the book version, the abusive boyfriend, Ponytail Derek, gets Charlie's sister pregnant and tells her that this baby isn't his. Since Charlie's sister is above 18, She decides to abort the baby, and Charlie helps her in this by driving her to the clinic and taking care of her while they drive back home. His sister finally breaks up with her boyfriend. In the movie version, nothing like this happens, but her sister ultimately breaks up with her boyfriend, that is Derek. The change is big, as this allows for a connection between them. This probably wasn't a great way to get this much of the sister in the film, but this edit still feels like a bad one because it is fairly critical to the sibling relationship. Patrick versus Brad fight. Sorry. In the book, after winning the fight, Charlie threatens to expose or blind Brad next time. While in the movie, he doesn't even remember how he fights and doesn't threaten anyone. The change is huge because it makes Charlie an active fighter as opposed to a put upon guy who happens to win fights. I find the change bad. I like Fighter Charlie better, as it's a more interesting character to watch. Patrick quit the role of Frank-N-Furter. In the book, after breaking up and fighting with Brad, he quits the role, but in the movie, this doesn't happen. The change is small. The quitting of role shows how depressed Patrick is, but the movie shows that just effectively, so overall, it is a good change. Brad with another guy. In the book version, Patrick and Charlie spotted Brad with another guy in the park while they were drinking. In the movie, this doesn't happen. The change is moderate, but it could have been included in the movie given Patrick a better closure as it does in the book. It also shows that Brad is struggling with his sexuality just as much as Patrick is struggling with Brad's family situation. It would have made Brad a more sympathetic character. The senior prank. In the book, the senior year students fill up the swimming pool with grape Kool-Aid, while in the movie, Patrick paints all the instruments of shop class pink, taking revenge on his teacher at the same time, supposedly. The change is small. Anything that can light up the mood, involves the main character in a funny way, is a good change. Graduation ceremony. In the book version, the ceremony is explained in a great detail, and Charlie's sister was second in her class and also has few good family moments, like Charlie and his brother hugging his mom while tears of joy flows through her eyes, seeing her daughter giving the speech and getting graduated with flying colors. In the movie, nothing like this happens. Even it is not mentioned that Charlie's sister is that good in studies, the change is moderate and bad. Because the graduation ceremony is one of those moments many can relate to and get nostalgic, and everyone deserves a few happy moments, even in the movies. Meeting with Bill in his house. In the book, Bill invites Charlie to have lunch with him and his girlfriend, where they have a heart to heart conversation about how gifted Charlie is, while nothing like this happens in the movie. The change is big, and this makes Bill a part of Charlie's story. Change is bad as reader. It is nice to see adults take an active interest in Charlie, while in the movie version it doesn't really happen until Dr. Burton is involved. Charlie ended up in a hospital. In the book version, after Sam leaves for college, Charlie drives back home and starts getting sick and hallucinating things. He writes a letter to his anonymous friend and posts it, and then his parents find him naked on the sofa watching television, which is all. In the movie, Charlie walks back home and starts getting panic attacks and remembering the past and starts seeing memory flashback in which Aunt Helen keeps dying, and he makes a call to his sister telling that he is responsible for Aunt Helen's death because Aunt Helen was going to get his second gift, who then informs the police that Charlie's sister informs the police to go to her house and save Charlie before he harms himself. The police finally barge in, saving Charlie from harming himself with a knife. The change is moderate and actually both versions are good and full of drama. I like them both. So the change is neutral. The realization about Aunt Helen. In the book, Charlie realized what Aunt Helen did to him while he and Sam were getting physical. In the movie, Charlie discovers this in the psychiatric ward at the hospital. The change is big and understandable, as the movie cannot risk any negative association with Sam and the beautiful relationship of Charlie and Sam. So after Sam left, the movie let Charlie panic, getting hospitalized, and finding everything out. Next, and the last difference, the final song. In the movie, there is no mention of the final song which plays when Charlie stands in the tunnel. In the movie, Sam solved the mystery of the unknown song they heard and liked on their first ride together through the tunnel, and the song is We Can Be Heroes by David Bowie. The change is moderate and it helps to have a song to identify the film with and to provide momentum for the final scenes. I would like to conclude that both the movie and the book are like different pieces of art, though revolving around the same issue that is child sexual abuse. The story which book presents is a little dark and terrifying at some places, which has an impact on the mind, while the movie tried to minimize or manipulate such events of the story with such perfection that I didn't even feel that impact on my mind, and I think it's good. I don't want to watch a movie and become depressed. There are few beautiful scenes in the movie that I will forever cherish and remember, and some excerpts of the movie that I will never forget. All in all, it is an amazing and remarkable adaptation by writer and director Stephen Chbosky. No one could have better put or justified the story on the big screen better than him. Thank you.